National Sign Day coverage continues here on GoSycamores.com. I'm Luke Martin alongside defensive coordinator and linebackers coach Brad Wilson. Coach Wilson, the excitement you have for this class, why do you like it so much, specifically with those newcomers you get on the defensive side?
Obviously it addresses, some critical immediate needs, that we feel we're going to be able to add and generate some depth in quite a few of those rooms, and then the chance to maybe get an immediate impact inside up front, that we're really excited about the character and the quality of the young men that we've brought in. I think that when you look at where these guys come from, the families, getting to know their families and where they come from and their backgrounds, they've all got tremendous leadership ability, have been in key leadership roles on their high school or junior college football teams, and really expect them to bring that to us. And I think that then you look at the talent that they're going to bring on the field, and we're excited and feel like we've checked off every box in terms of the profile of what we're looking for here at Indiana State.
You mentioned the profile. What are those main pieces of that profile that you guys determine as a staff is very important?
Obviously it starts with the first thing, when you look at the film, you're looking for whether it's a size profile, a skill set profile that you're looking for, whether it's in the back end, the ability to play man-to-man with what we do. You're looking for length, you're looking for transition, speed, closing speed, those types of things that you're going to be able to put them in a lot of one-on-one situations and feel you're going to win a good amount of those. Got to have supreme, competitiveness back there, I think, which all these guys bring, and you've seen that throughout the course of their careers and as you've gotten to know them. And then up front, obviously, it's you're looking for a guy that can be an impact inside. Great initial quickness, plays with a great, tremendous amount of power, great job with their hands. I think all those things start the process. And then from there you dive into, do they fit the academic profile? Are they going to be able to be successful here academically, stay on track to graduate at that 3.0, which is obviously a goal that Coach Mallory set for everybody in this program. And then obviously you look at off the field, and I think that's where getting to know their families and where they come from, their background from that standpoint. And then, have they been put in leadership roles throughout their high school career, junior college career? And can they bring that to your football team? Because at the end of the day, we know that not what we do, but how we do it and who's doing it's going to be the most important thing, and the culture of that locker room will always be first.
Let's start up front. Connor Smith, what's most impressive about him and what he can bring as an impact guy? Again,
he brings the size component, number one. I think that he's going to bring a great deal of maturity to that room in terms of an older guy that's played at a high level of football and competed against a high level of competition, so he understands what it takes to have success from that standpoint. I think that, again, when you look at that, he's played inside, he's played on the edge, so being able to do both of those things has been impressive to see. How he you put a big guy like that on the edge and he doesn't look out of place athletically. I mean, the guy did some really impressive things out there at Saddleback for Coach Crapo and that defense out there. And I think that, but again, it all starts with him with the power and the strength and just the ability to. He's going to demand some attention inside, which is going to free up some guys throughout the rest of that front that we know we feel good about a lot of those guys coming back, and you put all those pieces together. And obviously we say it all the time, it all starts up front. We're always going to put our focus there first, and it makes everyone else around them better.
4 guys you add on the back end of your defense, what can those 4 bring and possibly make an impact in terms of making it a very competitive room from the get?
You start with a guy, you look at a guy like Khalil Davis out of Newport down there in Kentucky, and here's a guy that when you see a guy playing high school and the high school football coach feels comfortable to put the ball in his hands every single play, it says something to you about the level of trust that coach and his teammates have in him. And Khalil did everything for his football team, and is a very humble kid. Is extremely excited to get here and is going to fit right in with the culture in that room, in the safety room, and just excited about, again, the skill set and the talent that he brings, also with the leadership and the competitiveness, and how excited he is to be a Sycamore. We're excited about that. And then a guy like Ray Vollmer coming from Carroll High School up there in Fort Wayne, playing for Coach Dinan up there. I think that, we've gone to Fort Wayne the last few years since we've been here and done a great job of pulling some great players out of that area that come from great programs have played at a high level, competed at a high level. Carroll had a great year this year, made a good run in the playoffs, and Ray was a big piece of that. And you see his competitiveness, and he played some corner for him. We'll transition that ability to the safety position, but love the attention to detail and the competitiveness that Ray's going to bring, and the attitude that he'll bring to that back end. And then you go to the corner position with the Jonathan Edwards out of Parkway over there in St. Louis. This was a young man that we've been on for a while now. We've known about Jonathan for a long time. He was on campus almost not quite a year ago at this time, and started to build a relationship with him and his family. Saw him in a number of camps throughout the course of the season. As we went through the process, there was nothing else more that we could see Jonathan do that we needed to see in order for us to think that this guy had a chance to be real successful here. So we've built a great relationship with him, and obviously feel like he can come in and be an immediate impact player with the skill set, the size, length, burst, the closing speed that he's going to bring, and then and along with that, a guy like a Vashon Green out of Fern Creek down there in Kentucky, also a standout on the track team. Both of these guys are, and so you look at the ability for those guys to just flat out run and cover, and once they get here, for us to be able to get them ingrained with what we want them to do technique-wise, and they'll be great fits with what we want them to do with all the man-to-man, the one-on-one situations we're going to put them in. But the key thing with both of those guys, the more you saw them throughout the summer and you saw them at camp is just how competitive they were. And those have got to be the most competitive guys on the field with the situations that they're going to be in every single day or every single play. So extremely excited about all four of those guys and what they're going to bring to the secondary.
It wouldn't be fair for me to characterize it in this way either, that each year you've been here, you haven't had to replace anything when you've gotten to the next year. This past year, you knew losing guys like Cottrell Moss and a Jamal Jones, and that would be a big deal. But this year, knowing you lose an All-American linebacker in Jonas Griffith, you lose probably an All-American type guy in Clayton Glasgow, who had a phenomenal breakout year. Keavis Cummings, who was a one and done, but provided so much need at a cornerback spot. How big is this offseason really from the defensive perspective? And yeah, you got many pieces coming back that got key playing time, but you also lose a lot of key guys who was the bolster and a big bulk of what you did defensively.
I think one of our challenges is going to be, as you look at the leadership throughout each room, I think that for the last couple of years, everybody's kind of looked to Cottrell and Jonas as these are our leaders. We're going to follow these guys, and they're going to set the example and the standard every single day, which they did. But we've kind of challenged some of these other guys, in the D-line room. You look at Anoke Moala in the linebacker room. You've got some veteran guys in there, some older guys, Kelvin Broom, Matt Thompson, that have been around this program and seen how those guys have gone about their work. And we always tell them the expectation is the position. These guys, they graduate. These other guys have been recruited, retained, developed, and now it's their time. And then in the secondary, obviously, a guy like Michael Thomas just continued to grow as the season went on, and obviously Mekhi Ware's becoming a veteran guy for us now. So first and foremost, holding themselves to a high standard, making sure that their room is where we need it to be, but then filtering that on through the rest of the defense and even throughout the football team. And I think the more guys that you can have spreading the same message, the better. And I think that that's what you're going to see, and that's what the challenge is this offseason, is to get more guys into that leadership role. And I think that, surrounding them with the right people is going to be critical, and that's what's going to be fun this offseason to get that moving.
Have any fun road trips with Smitty again just coming up, just so you guys can travel and just spend more time together?
Every road trip with Smitty is fun. You know that. You better have a Polar Pop of a Diet Coke, and you better have some mayonnaise in there for him, and my man will be great company for you. So been a pleasure.
He told me he hasn't gotten to my jar of mayonnaise yet, but he's about to bust that open. So he's very close. And I gave that to him about 2 months ago, which that speaks to the volume of mayonnaise that he has.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't, and maybe he's just waiting for the right time. But I would imagine over the holiday, he's definitely going to dip into that a little bit.
Coach Wilson, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you and the family. I appreciate the time as always.
Thanks so much, Luke.
Once again, that was Brad Wilson, defensive coordinator for Indiana State football. For more on signing day, stay right here at GoSycamores.com.